ايش بروح ايش بيجي طب شو هذا ليش انا واقف هون الله يرضى عليك هاي مرض هاي مرض ايش عايز يكون قاعد في قلبها
يا شمري ولا واحد ان شاء الله نبي بدك ولا واحد.
Armed Israeli settlers have reportedly barricaded themselves inside this apartment in the Muslim quarter of the old city. But this man, a 38-year-old Palestinian travel agent called Nasser Jabber, says it's his apartment and that he can prove it.
From the police, nothing happened. They took me to the police station and asked me about our papers and leave all the people inside this house. This is the situation. This is the police, they help.
ايه بتوع شلو انا مكير אותו אני מכיר אני בן בית פה אני מכיר אותו גר שמה יש שומרים ولا واحد ان شاء الله نبي بدك يخرج ولا واحد على الصورة.
The crowd is angry that the police have made no attempt to remove the people they claim have broken into and taken over the apartment.
نعمل ملحمة يعني هون.
המון אנשים בפנים, אתם לא יכולים לעצור את כל החיים של האנשים, זה לא פייר מה שאתם עושים. אתם אנשי חוק צריכים לשמור על החוק, לא לעשות חיים קשים לאנשים.
Nasser Jabber says the apartment was empty at the time because it was being renovated. He's furious that the settlers have not been removed and angered by what appears to be the Israeli police helping the people inside by delivering them food.
He doesn't have the same type of feeling or devotion or roots here. An Arab's got his roots here maybe 30, 40, 50, 70 years. The Jews have got roots here 3,000 years. This belongs to the Jewish people. So we're just entering the gates of the old city, the famous Lion's Gate.
Israeli Daniel Luria is head of the Ultra-Nationalist religious group, Ateret Kohanim. Their aim is to buy up as much Palestinian property in East Jerusalem as they can and to move Jewish families in.
A Jew not only has the right, a Jew should be compelled to buy. For generations, all Jews could do from around the world was sprinkle a little bit of dust from the Mount of Olives onto his, in his grave. Today we have the ability, we have returned home. The words, the prophecies have come to fruition. We are living a dream here.
The old city is this ex-Australian resident's passion, and he's committed to increasing the Jewish presence here.
Jewish life has once again been rekindled.
Luria is taking me to see one of the properties that Ateret Kohanim has bought in the old Muslim quarter.
דניאל לוריה מעטרת כהנים, מה נשמע? יופי, אתה יכול להגיד לשומר בצלם שאני מגיע לשם, לפתוח לי את הדלת בבקשה? תודה רבה, ביי.
An Islamic ruling or fatwa calls for any Palestinian who sells land to a Jew to be sentenced to death. So settler groups use covert methods to acquire property here.
One has to be very careful how it takes place, whether it be using Arab middlemen or moving the Arabs overseas. There's no shortage of Arabs ready to sell. In many cases, they're
Ateret Kohanim will often pay highly inflated prices. Any chance to buy is jumped at. The organisation found this property after dialing the wrong phone number one day.
Dialed, and he ended up getting an Arab who was in the process of selling his house. So we organised for him a job overseas in America somewhere. He wanted that for his own protection. We ended up buying the place, giving him a job overseas, and ended up this building in our hands because of a wrong phone number.
דבר אליי ככה ואני עוצר אותך. הבנת? אל תיגע, אל תיגעו.
Nasser Jabber believes it is Daniel Luria's organisation, Ateret Kohanim, that has taken over his apartment. A call comes from the courthouse where he's fighting to get the property back.
شو صار الإسكان بينك وبين المحامي؟ ما حكاش معك لسه؟
The settlers are claiming they purchased the property.
القاضية ما قدرتش تعطي قرار. يوم الحد القرار الشرطة هون بتقول لك إحنا بننفذ قرارات محكمة. أنا بالنسبة للوراق اللي معي في معي وراق وفي معي قوة والحمد لله في قلب الدار.
According to Nasser Jabber, a few years ago, a Teret Kohanim tried to buy the apartment using an Arab middleman. But Jabber says when he found out it was going to settlers, he didn't go through with the sale.
لأنه حاولوا يبعثوا لي أكثر من ناس بشرية هذا البيت. يعني عملوا أكثر من محاولة لأنهم يشتروا هذا البيت وأنا كنت أرفض هذه المحاولات. بس هذا الحكي إحنا هذا بنفي للدين وبنفي للشرع وبنفي للوضع السياسي اللي إحنا عايشين فيه. فهذا الإشي إحنا يعني ما مستحيل يكون يعني.
שוטרים לא יישארו פה.
خلص خبرات
שוטרים הולכים עכשיו.
اللي معه هوية بس هذا بدخل. اللي معه هوية حراسة بس.
I asked Daniel Luria from a Teret Kohanim, but he said he couldn't comment on any particular incident.
שוטרים, גבי.
And when I contacted the settlers' lawyer, Mr. Avi Segal, he told me he also couldn't respond to our questions, except to say that his clients had purchased the apartment. Nasser Jabber can't believe they are now claiming to own the property.
يعني بالنسبة لي أنا ما في لو في بيع مني أنا ليش أجوا الساعة 2:30 بالليل اقتحموا اقتحام؟
The police tell Nasser Jabber they will not remove the settlers until the court orders them to do so. Two more Israelis then arrive, claiming to be security protection for the settlers.
כנס. חברת שמירה. ראיתי את התעודות.
The police help one of them in, and the crowd blocks the other.
ولا ما فيش طريق المرة. ما فيش وين مرة. ايه له مكان بخلال لا تصيب اخوك. اخوك يلا تليخ يلا. مهير نو. مهير يلا مهير نو. مهير سا. يلا.
Nasser Jabber is taken to the police station again, while his relatives vow to block anyone else entering the apartment.
I stand till the morning. All this night until the morning I waiting here.
This man is also determined to tighten Israel's grip on the east of the city, one house at a time.
Before 48, all of
Aria
this
King
area
describes
was a Jewish
himself
area.
as a
Was a
Zionist
Jewish
real estate
settlement.
agent.
Today, just Arab living here, but again, we are now in a process of bringing back the Jewish presence to the area.
Along with groups like a Teret Kohanim,
מלמעלה.
King tries to secure as
Okay,
much
ואז אתה פונה
property
ימינה,
as he
גם
can
כן.
in East Jerusalem
נידף
in
את זה.
order to turn Arab areas into
Synagogue
Jewish
exists.
neighborhoods.
But what you see here, we are now renovating here, right here, the apartment for the Jews to move in. I believe in a matter of a week, the first Jews will move in here.
Today, there are hundreds of Jewish families living in settlements like this in East Jerusalem.
אנחנו עושים היום את ההכנות לקצף ששמים למעלה, ולמטה אנחנו סוגרים איפה שיש יותר מדי אור.
King hopes this will make it impossible for Israeli politicians to ever consider giving up this half of the city to the Palestinians.
If we want to make their life difficult and to make their programs of dividing the city difficult, we need to bring Jews to all over Jerusalem. We are already succeeding. We already in much better situation that we were 10 years ago, 20 years ago, and 30 years ago, and 42 years ago.
Settler groups are increasingly using the Israeli court system as a means of acquiring new properties in the east.
Come here, continue, you see here what is left from the synagogue. Today, unfortunately, Arabs are living inside the synagogue.
Aria King claims that up to 800 properties in this part of East Jerusalem were originally owned by Jewish families. Abandoned when they fled the east in 1948
You look at that, you see
after the city was
building was the
divided.
synagogue. You see the steps there, going up to the roof. These steps were taking the women to the women's section of the synagogue.
King spends hours studying old land deeds and tracking down what he claims are the rightful Jewish owners. He then lodges cases in Israeli courts to evict the Palestinian families currently living there.
That we will take care of evicting the squatters, and we will renew the place as a synagogue.
And this is the result of one such court case. 57-year-old Fawzia Al-Kurd now lives in this tent. Last November, she and her husband were evicted from the house his family had lived in for over 50 years. Today, Palestinian journalists have come to record her story.
أنا تزوجت سنة ال70، خلفت كل أولادي فيه وجوزت أولادي فيه وصرت جدة في قلبه وطلعوني منه وما الزوج وهو طالع منه.
Her husband died of a heart attack soon after they were evicted, and she blames his death on the stress of losing their home.
يعني هاي مش أكبر مأساة للشعب الفلسطيني اللي عماله بموت جيل ورا جيل وهو حقه ضايع منه.
Israeli settlers won a court case claiming that Jews had owned the land in the early 19th century. They now live in Mrs. Al-Kurd's old home.
وأنا هذا عملته في إيدي، إلهم هذا؟ كيف إلهم؟
Mrs. Al-Kurd takes me to West Jerusalem to see the land her father used to own before 1948. She's outraged at what she sees as a double standard. That Jews are allowed to take back land they claim to have owned before 1948 in East Jerusalem. But Palestinians can't claim land they say they owned in the west of the city.
هذا بيت عربي وهذا بيت عربي وهذا بيت عربي.
This is where her father used to own land in West Jerusalem. Her family fled when Israel was created in 1948 and have never been allowed to claim their property back.
بقول لك ابصر ايش فيه، طلعوا من البيوت طبعا في طريق التهجير، ملابسهم، اوراقهم، مفاتيحهم، ايش ما إلهم طلعوا ولا اخذ ولا شيء، بدهم يرجعوا سكروا الطريق خلاص، عملوا فاصل.
I've only landed once in
Andy
Sydney on my way to
David
New
is
Zealand.
with the Israeli
So
Foreign
I still
Ministry.
have to visit
I
Hong
asked him
Kong,
why the thousands of
Azerbaijan,
Palestinians who claim to hold
my
titles
train
to property inside Israel are not allowed to take their land back.
For a very simple reason. There was a war. The war was forced on Israel. And I think that it's also time for people to stop whining. You know, you start a war and then you lose and then you whine about it, that you should be compensated for your aggression. Well, we're talking about people who were involved in hostile activities against the newborn Israel at that time. We're talking about armies who were asking their people to just move aside, let us slaughter all the Jews and then you can come back to your homes.
Meanwhile, down at the district courthouse, Nasser Jabber is waiting for a hearing on his case. The settlers are still barricaded inside his apartment.
هلا اذا اعتزنا احنا لشهاده معينه، اذا اعتزنا لشهاده احنا هلا فوق برفع تليفون او بخلي رائد ينزل النادي على اساس انه انتم جيراني وبتعرفوا اني انا ساكن في البيت وعائله جابر ولا عائله ثانيه ساكنه قبل هذا عائله
سنه لنا فيها
هذا الحكي
100 سنه
ما هو اسئله
هذا ابوه انولد فيها مات عمره 100 سنه وابوه
الاسئله محدده ابو ناصر.
He's confident that by the end of the day, he'll be back in the apartment.
I think everything will be okay because I have all my documents and everything will be fine.
While Nasser Jabber maintains his faith in the courts, this press conference has been called after another court decision in favor of Israeli settlers. 30 more Palestinian families now face eviction.
The latest legal developments mean that the Ghawi family and the Hannoun family are in danger of immediate eviction, and really the Israeli courts here operate in a political manner rather than in a strictly legal manner especially
Roy
because they
Dickinson
have
is a European
refused
Union
to
diplomat.
accept legal documents
He's
from
calling on the Israeli government
1927
to reverse
on
the eviction
pretext
orders.
But essentially, I think, as the speakers today pointed out, this is a political problem. Therefore, I mean, the European Union, in the spirit of Annapolis, in the spirit of the roadmap, takes the view that Israel should not implement house demolitions and evictions, as it severely compromises the progress on the peace process.
Those homes were not the property of the people who were claiming to be living there, those Arab families. They were the property of Jewish families that were
Andy David denies there is any political motive behind house evictions in East Jerusalem. He says it's an internal legal issue that has nothing to do with the peace process.
And that was not an action by the state, it was an action by the courts. The courts decided that this property does not belong to the Palestinian inhabitants but to the Jewish ones.
Earlier this year, the Israeli municipality approved plans to tear down 88 buildings here in the East Jerusalem neighbourhood of Silwan, leaving some 1,500 Palestinians homeless. US Secretary of State Hillary Clinton spoke out against the plan, labelling Israeli demolitions and evictions as unhelpful to the peace process. But just weeks after Clinton's call, this demolition took place in the old city.
والحرم بس يعني شو بده الواحد يحكي حسبي الله ونعم الوكيل هم بيهدوا واحنا بنبني.
The Israeli authorities say the apartment was demolished because it was built without approval. One of around 100 Palestinian homes in East Jerusalem destroyed by the municipality each year.
هم بيهدوا واحنا بنبني. هذه بلدنا وهذه أرضنا أرض جدودنا مش راح نطلع من هون راح نضلنا هون.
طب
خلاص خلاص
بدي انا انظف لحالي.
The family are told they must clean up the rubble from the demolition or they will be fined $200 for each day it's not removed.
قال في عيسى لو بيت الخاش لو ارسل لك على باي يلا يا زلمه تعذبك بس يلا عذابك روح يا زلمه يلا روح انت لا انت بدي لك كل خير بس عينك قدك بيقول لي من يوم لك ايش لنسمع $1000 سمعت ايش لنسمع انا تويل بس ولك ايش لنسمع نحن اخليه متخن يلا لا يفهم.
It's now been over 6 months since Nasser Jabber found himself forced out of his apartment. The court still hasn't ruled on his case, and Jabber says he's now lost hope in the Israeli justice system.
إذا أنا هلا في اللحظة هذه بنزل على بيتي ومعاي الإثباتات اللي لازم أنا أثبتها في القضاء وبفوت على بيتي بقتحمه، هل إنه الشرطة الإسرائيلية والقضاء الإسرائيلية بتصرف معاي زي ما هو تصرف معهم، بيجيب لي الأكل والشرب وبمنع إني ما يسجنيش؟ أما لما بيكون يهود وعرب متخاصمين القضاء ما بيكون نزيه. في حالة سياسية يمكن متنازهين بيكونوا على بيع سيارة، على موضوع مادي بينك وبينه، أما إذا إشي بيعد في الاستيطان أو بيعد في العقار الإسرائيلي الفلسطيني فتأكد تماما إنه القضاء ما بيكون نزيه.
It's daybreak on a Sunday morning, and the families who had called the press conference to publicise their eviction now know their struggle has been in vain. A series of appeals through the courts have failed.
You just evicted him from his house, you kicked him out, he's a child.
Two of those families, the Al-Rawis and the Hanuns, are being thrown out. They have lived here for over 60 years.
They come in the morning, they broken all the door. They can't let me take my stuff. They fight all my cousin and my brother. Yeah. They say for us go out. They
Israeli authorities forcibly remove the family's belongings.
Yeah, I mean, I need to get in and see what's going on behalf of my government. I'd like to speak
A
with whoever I
diplomat
need
from
to
the
in order to
American
get that
consulate arrives at 7 a.m. to try and talk to the families. But he's not allowed through.
I'd like to get in and just see what's going on.
Possible to get inside.
Is there any chance, who could I speak with to get authorization to get in here? Can I ask
The
your name,
American
sir?
diplomat, political officer Kyla Cronmiller, refuses to comment on camera, but speaking in Arabic, commiserates with local residents.
أنا متأسف جدا بس على الحلقة أمك يعني صحتها كويس وما فيش مشاكل معها. الحمد لله. بكرة هي هلا أنا متأسف. مش مشكلة. في مشكلة بس أنا.
هذا الحكومة ما بتسوي هيك، لو في عدل مضبوط الحكومة ما بتسوي هيك، بس هدول شغل مافيا كله.
ساعة كثير.
تجيني أنا أمشي لخانون. لا أمشي لخانون.
Less than 2 hours after the families are evicted, the Israeli police help more than 20 Jewish settlers move into the now empty properties.
لا ممنوع يدخل زي ما هو احنا زتتنا برا بدكم زتهم برا يلا
ما تأمر ما بتكنس
انا برا وهم جوا هذا هدول وين امريكا وين بريطانيا وين كل الدول العربيه تسمع وين الاسلام.
We don't care what the world thinks about what our land is or what our land is not.
You don't care what the world thinks?
No,
Why?
because we are a chosen nation and the world knows that. And God promised us Jerusalem.
مازم كله من الله. لكن لا يرضيب شرخ كله من الله.
נכון, كله من الله. תאמין לי, אללה לא ישאיר אף אחד בחוץ.
בסדר.
אף אחד הוא לא משאיר, אפילו חתול אסור.
ادعوا لنا أرضنا ودورنا وبعدين تعالوا خذوا أرضكم ودوركم.
לא מבין.
זה לא אדמה שלך, אתה לא מפה.
سختيرونك مقرر منيا.
זה הארץ שלנו, זה הבית שלנו. الله ياخدك، أنت لو يضيع إيفو الله، أنت لو ما من بالله.
الله معانا، الله عربي، الله عربي،
كله،
الله عربي،
كله،
الله عربي،
كله من الله.
الله عربي، عربي الله.
أعيدوا
لنا بلادنا وأرضنا. أعيدوا لنا بلادنا وأرضنا التي احتلتوها وقتلتوا شعبنا. اخرجوا من هنا أيها المحتلين الأجانب. اخرجوا.